Your first Periscope. Your first scope. Are you excited?
So excited.
Okay. My little sister is in college, and she had asked if we would answer some questions for her small group because they're talking about dating and marriage. So since we're going to be doing them, I thought, let's just do them live on Periscope so that maybe some other people can benefit from them. So, and then I can just share the scope with them when they're done. So to all of you in Talia's group, hi. Hope you're having a good night. Here's the first question. When did you first meet and when did you start dating? Should we tell the short version or the long version?
We better keep it short.
Basically, we first met at a wedding. I was at the wedding because my boyfriend was standing up in the wedding, and Kyle was also standing up in the wedding, and he had a date for the wedding. So, yeah, we weren't really paying too much attention to each other, but we did meet there, and I had known his sister beforehand, so she had kind of told me about him, and that was kind of how everything first started, I guess. Then a few months later, I broke up with that boyfriend that I had been with, and then Kyle decided to come and visit his sister Brittany at college because he kind of wanted to get to know me more.
On to me, yeah.
So, next question is, how did the relationship progress? From dating to serious dating to I'm probably going to marry this person to engagement. Well, that wasn't a very long process for us. It was like
pretty short.
A year, less than a year. No, a little over a year. But do you want to talk about that?
Well, from dating to serious dating, I mean, that, for us, it was maybe 2-3 months. Mm-hmm. Till we realized, and then there's a couple other questions that it's, this stuff is always different for everybody, so yeah. But for us, it was fairly quick, and there's another question that I'm going to kind of put with this. How did you know you were right for each other? Everyone says, oh, well, you just know, or you just know. But really, it's, you're making a conscious decision, kind of. And it's not just like, oh, one day you suddenly are like, yep, this is the person. But the fact of, as your relationship progresses, you're kind of realizing things of, oh, these are really good things, or this isn't a good thing, or whatever it might be. But our progress was fairly fast, and from maybe the second or third month, kind of when we got to some more serious dating, we already knew we wanted to marry each other. Mm-hmm. And then it was just kind of a timing thing, going through, and by a year of dating, we were engaged. So that's kind of our process. And going into the next one, how did you know you're right for each other? We kind of just, we knew right away, but it wasn't just like a feeling. It was like we had lots of talks about it, and we had kind of really dug into it. You don't just wait around, oh, is this person right? You figure it out yourself.
You have one of my long blonde hair hanging off your head. Yeah, I agree. And I think, like, our relationship was long distance almost the whole time. And then I actually, like, Kyle graduated from college. We were going to college 4 hours apart. And then he graduated a year before me, moved to Milwaukee, where I was finishing school to get a job. And the day that he started that job, I flew to Spain for, like, the summer to study abroad. So we were long distance a lot, and I think that was challenging, of course, but the benefit in that was that we spent a lot of time just, like, talking on the phone and everything, and so we got to know each other really well, and for both of us, the foundation of our faith in a relationship was really important, and that was so strong for both of us, and we were raised so similarly, so I think that really helped to kind of progress relationship and for us to feel confident, like, yeah, we are right for each other. And I don't know, it is hard, I think, to know, like, until you're with the right person, it is hard to understand, like, how will I actually ever know? And I think Kyle was the first. I had, thought about the idea of marriage with other guys that I had dated, because I always went into dating thinking, like, I'm not just going to date someone if I know for sure I can't marry them.
Yeah, what's the point?
Right, but I think with Kyle, like, he was the first one where I didn't feel scared of all the thought of getting married, or kind of have this, like, doubt, like, ooh, I don't know, maybe we could get married, but I'm not quite sure. yeah, it just felt very different. And next question, it kind of goes along with all that. Like, how were you able to keep your relationship in a God-pleasing manner? What would you say?
Well, I think the only way you can keep your relationship in a God-pleasing manner is to be in God's Word and to take what God says seriously. A lot of people don't take what God says seriously. They think, well, that's for other people, or that's old time, or whatever it might be, and everyone makes their own decisions. But if you are a Christian, you feel that God's Word is true, then you're going to subscribe to the fact that, hey, God is actually telling me what's best. And then, so in a relationship, how do you keep up with that? How do you keep your relationship in that way? And I would say, first, by knowing that what God says is the best way, and then two, staying in God's Word. So being strong in your faith individually and then together. We went to church all the time. Every weekend that we were hanging out, we'd go to church together and things like that. And now we keep up on our Bible study and Bible readings personally on our own and together, and church every week, and Bible studies with friends and family and things like that.
I will say, though, like, we aren't some, like, perfect saints or whatever. We were both raised Christian, but I think it did feel a little awkward for me at first, and maybe you too, of, like, trying to combine our faith lives, kind of, because, we had read our Bibles on our own and gone to church with our families or on our own, and it's kind of a new ballgame when you're, like, dating someone or you're married to someone, to be praying with someone. That felt weird for me at first, or like
more so weird for me.
Yeah, or like doing devotions together. So if you're in that place right now, or you might be someday,
just keep trying.
Just keep working at it and be really honest with each other about like what you like and what's comfortable to you, and just enjoy the process together of kind of figuring that out.
What were ways to stop fighting and arguments if when they happened and still love each other? So what were ways to stop fighting and arguments?
I think I'd like that love and war, but...
Well, first of all, it says if they happened, you're always going to have arguments because there's two different people.
Yeah.
And you have two, even if you're very similar from similar backgrounds like we are, you're still going to have different ways that you want to handle something, or, so you're going to have those arguments, you're going to have fights. We've never really had anything that's been nuclear.
No. We disagree, but I don't think we fight like that much.
Yeah. And ways to stop fighting that I guess we've kind of realized, and it took a little while, but realized that just because someone thinks a different way than me doesn't mean that's wrong. So I don't have to win, and this is what you were kind of getting to before.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to win or you win, and it's always, well, if I win, then you lose, and vice versa. That's not what it's about in a relationship, and then progressing forward into your marriage. So if you realize that it's not about winning something, winning the argument, it's a lot easier to stop. It's a lot easier to be like, we're getting really heated. Let's, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. Those types of things.
And I think there's a book that we really love that some good Christian friends recommended to us called Love and War.
Very good
and
book,
it talks about basically, the Bible passage, like our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against, the spiritual forces of evil. And I think that's a really key thing to keep in mind in your marriage, is like when you are getting on each other's nerves, your fight is not against each other, it's against Satan. And if you picture yourself kind of like back to back, like, with your arms linked, like battling Satan in your marriage and in your life, that kind of helps you realize, like, when a fight starts, like, is kind of starting to happen, like, no, I'm not going to let Satan, like, get in between my marriage like this. I'm not going to let him into this.
Yeah. But that all comes from, kind of like we've been saying before, that's a mindset thing. And you don't always know that right away. But we read that book and kind of learned that, and it really helped us have a different mindset.
Also, 5 Love Languages is probably my top recommendation for a book. Know how your, I guess the next two questions are about advice for single people and dating people. So advice for dating people: know how the person that you're dating likes to be loved.
True.
So I got this wrong when we were first dating, because I feel really loved when people do things for me or say like nice things to me. So I would try to do things to show Kyle that I loved him, like bake for him. Well, he really appreciates people spending quality time with him. So he would rather that I was not trying to bake him muffins, instead that I would just like stop and just go sit down on the couch next to him and hang out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we both went through that process of realizing. So that's a huge thing. Is you're doing something you're not trying to be doing something that makes you feel better. It's trying to do something that makes somebody else feel better.
Yeah, it's not about you. Any other advice for dating people?
Oh, dating people.
I think we've given a lot of advice so far.
Yeah, most of it's been advice for dating people. Advice for single people is enjoy each stage. Actually, that's for dating.
What I was going to say.
That's for dating people too.
Yeah.
And just life. Life in general. We're always like looking forward and when am I going to have a better job or a better car or a bigger house? Stop. Stop. And just enjoy where you're at. So for a single person, enjoy the fact that you have probably unlimited freedom. That's pretty cool. If you're a dude, you could hunt and fish all the time. No one would be would care.
True.
So that's good.
And can I add to that? That I think when you're single, like that's a really great time of life to really focus on yourself and like be really stable and strong in your own faith and in what's important to you, because if you're kind of a mess, sometimes it's a lot harder when you add another person into that mess. If you're like a total disaster, like trying to figure out what on earth am I going to do for a career, or what's important to me, or struggling with your faith, and not like you can't go through those things with someone, but really take advantage of that time if you're single, to really just work on yourself and enjoy your friends and your family, because when you're dating someone, or especially when you're married, that person comes first, and you don't have quite as much time with like friends or family, and you don't really need as much time because you have your best friend with you all the time.
True. How do you have a first kiss? This is a weird question.
Well,
I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish with it. But
maybe.
Like, is it meaning, like, how did we have our first kiss, or how do you have a first kiss in general?
I don't know, but it is nerve-wracking if you haven't had one.
Yeah, it's
nerve-wracking. I wasn't super young when I had my first kiss.
Or like, our first kiss, I was very nervous and actually, like, let her walk away for a little while before I was in the parking lot, and then called her back over to say something stupid, probably.
You asked me if you could kiss me.
No, I did, yeah.
You said, is it okay?
How do you have a first kiss? Ask. Try that.
I think it's probably good. It's okay, and maybe good if it's like a little bit awkward, or like both people are a little bit nervous.
If it's not awkward, then you don't care about them.
Yeah, I think that shows you really care about the person.
Yeah. So if you're nervous about it or something like that, that's probably really good. So yeah, I think that answers everything. Any other closing thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
Love you.
Love you.
Kyle's a trooper because he's really sick today. So.
I'm very sick.
And he wanted you to know that one of the best reasons to get married is that so your wife can take care of you and you can be a baby when you're sick.
True. I'm a big baby when I'm sick.
But he did this. So, all right. Love you guys. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.